Hey guys, welcome to another remodel. We are in another remodel. Keep watching, keep watching. Welcome back to another video, guys. This is your host, Junior Garcia, and today I have a special guest, Juan or Jay from A Cup From Above.
Thank you for having me here.
Jay is late, guys. We waited almost an hour, and Jay is late. I'm gonna tell you guys, when you invite someone over, right, Jay? And we kick it all the time. We go out to dinner, and do a lot of we do other things as well. And so, if you say be here at 5, you gotta tell them 5 American time, not 5 Puerto Rican time, because he's late. He was supposed to be here at 5:30. Pete, what's the time? 6:15. 6:15. So almost there, almost. But but I'm happy that you're here, and we want to kick it around because today's podcast is going to be something a little different, right? We want to talk about to the young contractors that that are in a corporate job, that are in maybe working in a factory, maybe working in a stable job, that you're getting this amount of money every single week, and you have, let's say, medical, dental, life insurance, you have everything, and it's kind of working out for you, right?
All the benefits.
All the benefits are there for you, and then you're doing that transition over to being an entrepreneur and or to being a business owner. And then what are the steps for that? And so that's why we are doing this podcast, because Jay, this is his 3rd season of being a landscaper. So he does hardscaping, he does landscaping. So before landscaping, because we're going to get to the transitional part, but before that, what do you do?
So 2012 or so, we decided to take the civil service exam.
Right.
And we wanted to be a cop. And through that time, we took the test.
Wait, I'm not.
Well,
wait, are you carrying?
No, I'm not. No.
So, are you carrying?
So 2012,
right.
I wanted to be a cop.
Okay.
And it was always a dream.
Right.
I took the civil service, and it took about 2 years before I heard anything from the civil service. I got an answer, the test, I passed the test. Right. We moved forward, we were put on the list. We went through all the legwork and all this different process, from having a home interview, from background check, psych evaluation, and we made it. We were chosen, and we were chosen to go to state correctional department, and we started the academy. The academy was very intense and a lot different than the other academy, and what I mean by that is we had to stay overnight.
So you slept over there at the academy,
right? Most local.
3 weeks, 6
we
weeks,
actually
12
did,
weeks.
We did 16 weeks.
16 weeks.
So essentially 4 weeks plus some on-the-job training.
So
and
they shaved their head. They did a military buzz.
Every single morning at 5:30, religiously we had to shave our heads. And
wow.
And if you know me, right? And
right.
that took a toll on me. Woo. Not to mention, I think it has affected me a little bit, but it's growing back.
Right.
This was back in 2015 when we initially started the academy, and one thing led to another, and we finished the process, went to it, and started the job. And I'm going to be honest. We graduated, and I'm going to be quite honest. Right. My first day on the job itself, putting on the actual uniform and walking behind the wall, I didn't like the job.
Right.
I said to myself, this is a complete waste. I'm here. I signed up to be a super cop, and I'm here working state prison.
Right.
But one thing led to another, and I was able to transition and transfer to Essex County, and which I'm currently in now.
So basically, you went from state, and then you transferred over to the county.
That is correct.
Right.
So from now, 2015, we started in state. 2018 or so, we went to Essex County, and where we're still there working, and we making it work. We're making the best of it. I personally feel as though Essex County is a better department. Others tend to agree differently, but I agree that it is.
It works for you.
Yes, it works for me.
You and your family.
Why corrections?
Right. Well, if I'm going to be honest, I wanted to be a street cop.
Right.
Right. I wanted to be out there.
North Police,
anywhere, just chasing people around, saving a cat.
You wanted the action.
Right. But believe it or not, and any street cop could vouch on this, being a correctional police officer is actually harder than being a street cop.
It is.
And most street cops that were once correctional police officers can attest to it and say, you're absolutely right. Being behind the wall and being able to control a crowd of 64 inmates, 128 inmates without a gun, without anything, just, verbal judo and being able to carry yourself and gain that respect from inmates. It's a tough job within itself.
Right.
Not to mention the long hours, 16-hour shifts. If it's a state of emergency, now you're working 24-hour shifts. You're not seeing your loved ones. You're not going home. You're not eating right. You're not resting, enough. But I was dealt the correction and I stayed with it. I had an opportunity to go to the streets.
I would say that correction, if you're a correction officer and hashtag corrections, I had a lot of people in corrections, right? My brother was a correctional officer. My sister-in-law, they both retired from corrections. So they did their time and stuff. But it is definitely stressful. And it's a lot of head games. And it's harder to be a correctional officer and then being a police officer, right? Because, a guy just speeds by, you can let him go. You don't have to worry about it. In corrections, it's totally different. You're living with these guys. And like my brother always used to say, I'm living with them. I'm doing time with them.
You're doing a bid with them.
You're doing a bid with them. Even though you're going home for 16 hours, and sometimes you're there 8 and then you have to do a double shift because guess what? The other guy didn't report, right? Yeah, so now you're doing 16 hours because nobody came in, So it is definitely a harder job than just being a police officer. No disrespect to the regular blue, you know what I'm saying?
It's all hard.
It's definitely hard,
It's all hard.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is you're in a confined area with people not of like mind that are just trying to test you, see if they can push you to the next area to make you jump, you know what I'm saying? So it is definitely hard. So now that you're in corrections, you got into landscaping. Tell me.
Correct. So one thing, that as the years went by and my wife and I, were blessed with children, we feel as though we needed a little more or extra income rather. And we, thought of different avenues, different ways of generating more income. And yes, the department could offer overtime, but a person like myself, I wanted to be out and about. I didn't want to be subjected to being in there for more than I needed to. And we decided to open up this business, as many of you know, a cut from above. And we started, we first started 2015 when I first started dealing with, removing bushes and planting trees and planting.
Small jobs.
Right, just kind of. And I noticed that back in 2015, I had a thing for it. I enjoyed it. It was very relaxing for me to deal with it.
Right.
And I got to say this, my mother-in-law was a big role in this because she has the green thumb and she was able to teach me. And she had no idea what she was doing, but I was taking everything and absorbing every knowledge of it. And now, from 2015 to 2023, we were able to get on the books and have a real business.
Right.
And we are, obviously we have insurance, we are registered, we stand behind our service and our product. And now we are, as they say, official tissue. We have a business. We are.
How many Google reviews do you have?
We are actually have 99 Google reviews.
Look at that.
So essentially our third season. So I want to say going on to 3 years.
Right.
And we are standing in 5 stars. We have great clients and my staff is great. My team, these are exceptional. I'm not there. They get the job done as if I was there. They make it correct. They make it right. I don't have to follow no one around. I don't have to tell them what to do.
You're not a babysitter.
Right. I don't have to micromanage, if I may. They deliver every single time, and they make our company, and we are in good standing because of them. Well, I mean, from coming out of 16-hour shift, and if I was to kind of put it in a nutshell, I work different shifts, right? Whether it's 6 to 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 6. Coming out of 16-hour shift, I will get home, as they say in the jail, jump in the tank, take a shower, get dressed, take my kids to school, or take them in the back of the truck and go to work. You know, we've done it where I have all 3 kids in the back seat of the car because my wife needs to go to work.
She needs to go to work.
So we, you know, they get in the back of the truck with me and you know, kicking and crying. I'm feeding them, and I get to different job sites and have gotten to the point where they have to come out of the car, sitting on the grass while Daddy is mowing the lawn, you know, cutting the grass, edging and doing whatever needs to be done. So if I was to put it in perspective, you know, working 16-hour shift, getting home, getting 0 sleep. And going to work, getting back home around 5 p.m., taking an hour nap, and then perhaps going back on duty on 10 to 6. You know, sometimes we get an hour, 2 hours of sleep, and you know, I know it's going to take a toll on my health, but
it's a sacrifice.
But I need to do what I need to do to move my family forward, and I know it's temporary. You know, it'll come a point where I'm going to be able to do less labor. But in the meantime, I got to do it. I'm a firm believer that no one will take care of your business as much as you will take care of it. Right. You know, you're going to have team leads. They're going to do, you know, they're going to make ends meet, and they're going to do what they got to do because at the end of the day, they're going to want to get paid. But in your case, as an owner, right, and obviously you've been in this much longer than I have, you take a different level of pride because it's yours. So, you know, it's your name. And at times you're not going to get paid, but you're going to be recognized. And that within itself, to me, is just much more.
I would say yes, because I was always a firm believer, right, that I was the only best carpenter out there. Me and my team, me and my 6 carpenters were the best. We would go from one job to the next job to the next job. And I said, listen, nobody else can do this better than we can. And we do craftsman work. You know, we're cutting on a 45. We're turning this around. You know, I'm coping to do the crown molding. You know, no one's doing this. We're wood filling. We're sanding. We're doing all this crazy stuff. And we're going the extra mile. And I'm a firm believer now. And people will say, you're a business owner. When you get to a certain level, you need to have reliable subs, right?
Yes.
So we have an in-house team, right? That does roofing, siding, windows. We frame, we install doors, we do the decks. We are carpenters. We do it all, right? And then I call them the A team, right? We have an A team and a B team. They're in-house. But then we have subs. And in order for you to grow in your business, to get to the next level, to grow, you need to have qualifiable subs. Now, I had some bad subs. I mean, I had some real bad subs. And so they'll do a work, and I might have to fix a job. I remember this job, Wes Caldwell, the guy follows me on Instagram. It was 2015. We was solid busy, and I learned something, not to overwork myself, that job. And we were gonna have Freddie and all the guys, Tomas and everybody, they were going to do the siding, a little simple ranch home. You know, it was James Hardy siding. Long story short, I was so busy that I put the A-team on this real big job, which had a lot of crown, had a lot of AZAC trim, it had a lot of stuff, right? And then this little small house, I gave it to a sub. So somebody referred me, hey, the guy's a great sub. He's been doing it for 15 years. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to look over your shoulder. Guess what?
You ended up looking over your shoulder.
The homeowner came over. It says, Junior, I know that you're running a couple jobs. I think at that time I was running like 4 jobs. I know that you're running some other jobs. I'm following you on Instagram and I like what you're doing. But your guys are installing this incorrectly.
For a client to tell you that?
So I'm like, I went to the job site real quick, stopped everything, ran over there. When I ran over there, I saw it, and I saw what they did, and the caulk job and everything. I apologized to that homeowner. I apologized to him, and I said, I'm so sorry. I'm going to make this right for you. I stopped the current job where my team, A-team, was working. Stopped that, spoke to that client, says, give me at least 4 or 5 days so I can finish this job because I have an emergency. A lot of people don't do that, right? They'll just kind of, it doesn't matter. Brought everybody to that house, brought more materials, tore off all the materials. It was a loss. It was a loss in that job, but I didn't want to lose my reputation. I didn't want to do that, right? So what did I do? I made right on it, and you know something? When I finished the whole thing, he thanked me. He said, thanks, because I was halfway with the siding, 3 sides of the siding, most 3/4 of the siding done. And then he's like, it's not looking right. I can now say he left me a Google review and he was satisfied, because I turned the situation around. Why do I say that? If you're going to grow, you're going to have to get competent subs.
Correct.
Right? But if you're just starting out, like, you're starting out now and it's just your team, and you go to that job and you go to that job and that job, and you have the quality of that control for your job, whether it's landscaping, whether it's plumbing, whether it's electrical, whether it's roofing, whether it's siding, the quality stays good. But when you get subs, you have to monitor the subs.
Correct.
To make sure that they're doing the jobs right, So we wanted to talk about, right, because, you talked about a little bit about, you as a cop. Did you go through security here? Did you check in your gun?
No, I'm not carrying anything.
You're not carrying anything.
I'm off duty right now.
You're sure? Not.
I've been on the job for 8 years.
Right.
And I've learned the one thing is for certain: you have to find a way to shut it on and off. You cannot mix one with the other. I cannot treat a client as if they were an inmate or someone who may be, a suspect. I need to treat everyone with respect. So once the uniform comes on, that switch turns on. Once it comes off, that switch turns off. Right. So I have to turn it on and off. However, at times it's very difficult because you're carrying yourself with such a authority, if I may, right?
Most cops, you identify them walking down the street,
At times, instead of asking someone, you're demanding, right? Are you asking or are you telling, And it's funny because I went out to eat a few weeks ago with a couple of buddies of mine, and they're not cops, they're regular civilians. And he says to me, why did you order your chicken so aggressively? Why did you... I said, no, all I ordered was a half a chicken. He goes, yeah, but the way you told the lady was so aggressive, like... and sometimes you don't catch yourself, right? And it goes to even with my staff,
Right.
I've been through staff where they say, listen, I know not every single one of them know I'm on the job. Now I guess they're gonna know after they see this. But they get to say, you kind of rub around the edges, a little rough,
Right.
And it's just sometimes I guess the delivery itself, it's what can happen.
Right.
But we just have to find a way to just turn it on and off to be able to to switch one thing from the other, and it can be done. At the very beginning, it was difficult because that's all I knew. Being a correctional officer, telling guys what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and as the years went on, I had to learn how to switch it and just it's kind of having two personalities in one, but it's definitely doable. But you have to find that thin line.
So my question, right, to you would be, what are you doing to kind of grow your business? Because I know when you're running a good business, guys, when you're running and you're a young entrepreneur, and obviously everybody does it for a livelihood, right? You're making money, but you see that your business is growing little by little, and you're saying it's profitable. What do you do to make it grow, right? What are your next step now? What is a cut from above doing to go?
Say that. A cut from above.
A cut from above.
Yes, no, just want to make sure.
A cut from above. Man, so great.
I want to make sure that the name gets, no, because there's another company out there. It's called A Cut Above, right?
A Cut Above.
We are two separate entities, but it's similar, and people get confused at times with it. So, we are different. A cut from above.
So, no, and speaking to the young entrepreneurs, look, there's a guy, to answer, to get to your question, you're going to answer it, but there's a young guy. He's a Puerto Rican guy. He started his business. He was working at a factory. He says, he DM'd me on Instagram. He says, Junior, I've been following you, and I'm just gonna go into carpentry. I'm just gonna do it. I'm done. I've been doing this on the side, and I left my job, and he got into it, right? And I'll coach him and I'll give him advice and help him with pricing and stuff because he's doing handyman services, right? So he's scaling his business little by little. He got his insurance, he got his home improvement license. He got everything, little small tools and his little truck. So he's moving up a little. He's just starting. This is his third
season.
month.
Okay.
Third month.
First quarter for him.
So what is a cut from above doing to scale? Do you want to scale, or do you think, because most people, like in the pandemic, they want to come out of their job, and once they come out of their job, I'm not going back to corporate. I'm going to just run my own business.
Right. I mean, to be quite honest, when we first started, right, and out of a back of a pickup truck with no lettering, nothing, just 2 magnets on it. One magnet flew on me on the parkway going south.
Right.
I recall calling you about it. Listen, if you see it, can you please get it? And we never found the magnet.
Parkway South.
Right. So I was driving the truck with nothing on it. And I asked one of my good buddies, friend Joshua Mendez.
Oh, Josh Mendez.
To build the wood around
Mendez,
it. To build the wood around it. And just kind of
your truck.
Right.
The bed of your truck.
Right. So that way I could have some more room. And I went and ordered some T-shirts, and I went out there knocking on some doors, and I said to myself many times, sitting behind the truck, behind the wheel, I'm like, is this even making sense? Am I gonna continue doing this? Am I just gonna be a grass cutting guy? Am I gonna make this? Am I gonna make it? Right? So much competition. So one thing, another good friend of mine, because I'm surrounded by positive people, right? I'm not afraid of asking anyone for help. I need your help. You made it. Help me out. I'm not looking to tag along. I want your help and your guidance, if allowed. And you know the guy. You know Tony. He says to me, one thing you got to keep for certain is be consistent. If you're consistent, you're gonna make it. You're gonna have a lot of people cutting grass, but something about being consistent, right? And everybody has different energy. So we started, as I mentioned, with the back of a pickup truck with nothing on it. And my first morning, I recall telling my wife, babe, I'm gonna go out there. This is the first day. She made me an egg and cheese sandwich, aluminum foil, and a huge cup of coffee. She goes, babe, go out there, do what you do, but try to find someone because I need you home. I said, babe, I got to work it first. I can't just hire people. I'm not generating any money, right? So she goes, go ahead, and and I got to say this, and I'm going to answer your question in a couple of seconds. This business made it this far because of my wife's support.
Yes.
We have 4 little ones.
Definitely.
She's been home 24/7, also working her regular job.
My wife too.
And dealing with it, right? And she's been, I've made it this far because I'm not home right now. She's home with the kids. I'm here, and she's been the real GOAT, as they say, She's been the real GOAT, the GOAT of all, the greatest of all time.
Right.
It's my wife, and I want to make sure that I said that because as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you need to recognize how you make it, Don't sit here and say and pat yourself on the back and say, well, I made it because I got what it takes. I have the energy. I have the swag. I can speak. I can sell. No, you need a team behind you to be able to make it. So I think,
would say too also that when I first started, it was a lot harder than what you have, because back then nobody wanted to share information. Nobody wanted to show you how to run your business. I made so many mistakes, guys, so many mistakes. But as almost to now, there's coaching out there. If you're gonna run a business, guys, there's coaching available for your industry. You got Google, you have YouTube, and then there's people that will coach you and bring your business up and grow your business. But now it's mentorship. It's collabing and listen,
and networking
and networking and that and this and that and share idea, because I would say if you keep it honest with your client and you're gonna do a good job, you're always gonna grow. People will always refer you.
They're gonna trust you,
right? But if you're just trying to do scams and stuff like this,
and just make money and just move on to the next client.
I don't care about you, and people are gonna know that you're not genuine. In your time now, at least you have 3 or 4 people that are mentoring you, that are helping you, that are guiding you their steps. In my time, it was never like that. It was like, it's my own.
Figure it out.
You figure it out. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. So
and to answer your question, to grow our business this season, God willing, everything goes accordingly. We are looking forward to hire more people, hire more team leads, right? Because we are expanding, right? We are already in different.
What counties are you working?
Well, we service Essex County, right? Formerly, right? That's where we're out of. Passaic County and Bergen County.
Okay.
We've done other counties, Warren County, Hudson County for projects, but as far as maintaining them, that's a bit difficult for me to drive out there, and so forth. But for what am I doing to grow the business aside from every time we get an opportunity, I tend to do our best within our reach, but having social media and the camera crew. That they helping me. Marketing. Marketing is everything. If you get the right crew and the right people, you're gonna make it. It's gonna help you. Everything helps.
It's gonna accelerate. It's gonna accelerate your growth, and people are gonna get to know you. They're gonna know. Oh, Jay, a cut from above. I just saw you on social media. Hey, listen, I saw your Google review. I saw you on YouTube. This and that. Hey, can you give me a quote? Yeah. So shout out to my camera tree. He meant
the camera team. I should be the one nervous here, but
camera tree. So my camera team. Brian behind the cameras, and then Pete as well. So yeah. But
we're looking forward. It's gonna be a very surprising and shocking season. I see it already. Comparison to the first 2 seasons, we started getting calls and booking jobs in the month of December. People were calling in. Listen, come and scope out the project, and we do want it. Here's the deposit. Add us to the calendar. It's gotten to that point, and I'm shocked, and I'm thankful to God because I'm just this young kid who was born and raised in Puerto Rico, came here June 30th, 1996. Mom and pops brought us out here and just chasing a dream and trying to make it right for all of us. Right. And now God has allowed us to be in a position where we can help others. Believe it or not,
¿Tú hablas español?
Un poquito. So believe it or not, I'm a small landscaper, but I've helped other landscapers in my time because I know what it's like. People gave me the hand. Why can't I give you the hand? Right. And I've done it without even noticing. Something as simple as going to the landfill, going to the dump yard, and I see the guy that when I first started, he was with me. But listen, his bill, I got it.
Right.
I'm gonna not being boastful about it, but just being thankful because it was given to me. I'm passing it down.
You're passing it along.
Right. I gotta be grateful because if we are all here helping out each other, we could all make it.
I have competitors that I get along with. I'm gonna say about 4 or 5 competitors. I never talk bad about my competitors, right? But I got like 4 or 5 that will hit each other on Instagram. Eric, John. There's a lot of guys that we talk on Instagram and stuff, and they're my competitors, right? And Eric is, Eric always hits me up. He'll send me leads. It's a good thing, because he's like, I don't do Staten Island Junior. You want that? I said, all right, I'll take it, and it'll fall through, and I'll land that job. But I have a hard question to ask you, baby.
Here we go.
All right. Tonight is Puerto Rico versus Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. I wore my hat, tú sabes, baseball classic.
Do they know that you don't really speak Spanish?
Ellos saben que yo no hablo nada, acho papi, tú sabes, right? I'm a fake Puerto Rican, ya tú sabes, papi. But are you going for Puerto Rico or Santo Domingo?
I'm gonna be quite honest.
Right.
I'm just gonna throw this out there.
Right.
I'm Puerto Rican, right? But I look Dominican. I get it.
So you go. Wait, what's going on?
But listen, I'm being honest here, right? You brought me to your show. Allow me to just have this moment right here.
Yeah.
So, not many people know this. I don't even think Junior knows this. But when I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, my parents were both very, 9-to-5 workaholic. They had to do what they had to do, and we were raised by a Dominican nanny for about 6-7 years.
Wow.
All the way from a baby to like 5-6, right before going to kindergarten. And that lady, to this day, we're still, somewhat
still
in touch.
Name?
Yes, Maggie. Maggie was her
Maggie.
name. She taught us how to eat maicena, the Dominican way. Yes.
And
Mommy would drop us off early in the morning, and she'll go to work and whatnot, and the lady will have the maicena ready. And you know how when it gets a little cold,
canela? You put a little canela,
right? But then you will peel off the top of the maicena.
Yeah, it would be hard, right?
So with that being said, I gotta go for my Puerto Ricans, but I have a good for my Dominicans. I love my Dominicans. My barber's Dominican for the past 22 years.
He's going full Puerto Rico.
He's Dominican. I hang out with the Dominicans, and even at work at the department, I'm real close to my Dominican.
Yeah.
But
5.
If I may throw this out there, what is it, Team Rubio? You know what I mean? Is that so?
Yo.
By the time this airs, it's not gonna.
It's not. No. Listen.
Age well. You're gonna see the score.
Yeah. So.
Well, I suggest you hear this sooner.
Say that the game is today.
I am
7 p.m. Right? 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The game is today.
It's gonna start.
On Sunday, so.
Yeah. So when you see this, you're gonna find out if Puerto Rico won, or Dominican Republic won. It's the first one.
I'm saying it. Dominican is winning by 5.
Okay. And you paused it, right?
Yeah.
So the hard question I was gonna ask you, right, is this. Everybody has kind of difficult clients, those small difficult clients. And I'm gonna say, in your first season, did you ever have a difficult client that you said, you know something, I'm going home, forget it. I'm just gonna stay a cop. I don't want to do this. I'm giving this up. Forget it. Forget landscaping. Do you ever have a client that way that pushed you to the edge and said, forget it, I'm just giving this in. I'm selling all my tools.
I did, and it got to the point where I did say the following, ma'am, I think it's within my best interest to just return your money, you reimburse your money, and find someone else, because it's become stressful now. She said, no, you don't have to do that. Just let's see what we can do. I ended up purchasing more trees because she wanted density,
right?
Which we had given her density, and we ended up losing a couple of hundreds of dollars. But at the end of the day, we ended up getting a 5-star review on Google, not to mention more work within the neighborhood and herself, and we kept her as a client. I have one more that I'm going to add, and I'm going to kind of wrap it up with this one. I don't want to talk much about it. She was very needy, right? And there's an old saying that says you get for what you pay for. We were giving her good service, but we were not getting paid enough.
Right.
So we got to the point that I said, ma'am, I have a guy who I think is best for you to give him a call. He's a landscaper local. And that's the guy you should go with, because there was no way I was going to continue servicing her and losing all this money.
Right.
And we did it throughout the whole season, and it became, well, can you do this? Okay, ma'am, that's going to be extra. Well, why are you charging me? Why are you nickel and diming me? Well, ma'am, you signed up for a certain amount of services, and we have a la carte.
Everything
Right, and everything adds up. And this was happening in the middle of the pandemic. So my guys are going out there and saying, Jay, what else can we do? I'm getting videos. I'm getting pictures. This is the right way. I said, let me handle it. And it got to the point that I said, look, either I sell everything, I sell the business. And I did get an offer, a client in Montclair. She goes, I'll buy your business. With the amount of reviews you have and the reputation you have, I'll buy the business.
Right.
So then something clicked. I said, she didn't, we can't disclose that information.
I want to know.
But I did get that. She goes, I'll buy it. She goes, I'll buy it right now.
Tell me.
I'll tell you later. I'll send you a text.
All right.
After the game, after we beat Dominican Republic.
So the reason why I say, because if you've been in business, more than 2 or 3 years, you definitely are gonna go through somebody that kind of question, am I doing it? Should I stay in this? Especially as a young entrepreneur. And then my follow-up question to you would be, what you can look right into the camera, right? And tell the guys, that this is a young guy, that he's probably in corporate America. He's probably working for Pepsi. He's probably working for T-Mobile. He hates his job. He wants to give it up. I hate it. I hate being in a cubicle. I hate coming into 9 to 5, taking the train, spending 2 hours and stuff like that, and hates his job. And he wants to go out of his corporate job into being a landscaper or being an electrician or a contractor, right? Right.
I mean, what I would say to you, right, is, listen, you gotta do what it takes. Know one thing: once you get in it, you're not gonna compete with anyone but within yourself. The moment you start looking at the competition and say, well, they doing this, they gaining this, you're gonna lose track of what really matters. If you start it, make sure you finish it. Right, I started this, and I'm gonna go as far as God allows me to get there. Right, and just find motive and find reasons why to keep going. Right, anybody can make a couple of thousands of dollars, but you got to look at the picture within the picture in the long run. What can I leave behind for my children? Can my son or my daughters grab this company and take it to the next level and continue with their revenue? Can they do what it takes? I want to teach them. And this last little storm we had, I had my oldest come out with me and say, you know what, you're gonna work with daddy today. I had the twins in the back seat, right, screaming at the back window, and I had my oldest with the salt spreader, and just spreading salt on the properties we were servicing, you know.
Because it was snowing out here in Jersey.
Right, I want to teach you the value of things. I want to teach you, you know, and you that are making or still thinking about it, take that leap of faith. If you don't do it, you're gonna get to a point of your life that it's gonna be too late.
Right.
So don't live with that what if. Take it, embrace it, and make the best of it.
Yeah, I would say take the step, because if you don't, you will always regret it.
Correct.
And then say, man, I should have
done it.
I should have did this 20 years ago. You know what, where I would have done? And you would have saw your friend or someone you know, they took the leap of faith and they're doing it, and you're like, oh, now I'm behind the ball. You know, a lot of people don't know that before I took my leap of faith and before I decided to get into contracting, I was an 18-wheeler, right? So I drove a tractor trailer, a 20-footer, a 40-footer, 45, 48, 53, a tanker. I did it on flatbed, reefers. I did them all, right? I pulled containers out of the port. I did long distance, right? And then when I started my transition, because I started with my brother, I was his helper, right? And when I was his helper, I got into it and I started doing, you know, carpentry work, because that's how we did it. We did windows and doors, windows and doors, windows and doors. And then we started doing drywall. We started doing decks. We started doing everything that was interior, crown molding, floors, everything else. And then I got to the exterior. When I did that, I still was working as a tractor trailer driver. So at nights, like at night when you're going in and you're doing your shift, I was going in at 11 o'clock and coming out at 6. So I would go into where everybody knows where Hell's Fire is in Manhattan. There was a hub there for DHL. I would drive my car there, pick up my tractor trailer. They would fill it with all the international mail. And then I would drive all the way to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. They would offload me, fill me back up, transfer, and get back to Manhattan before 6, because if it was after 6,
traffic,
I'm done. Or I would have to come into Ronkonkoma, Long Island, and if I would get there before, if it was after 6, I'm hit. But I had to go through that process and to give in until I finally said, I made enough money here to save so I can kind of launch myself to work for 3 months and see how it would go,
You could pretty much work on your business while working in corporate, as long as it's not a conflict of interest.
I would say definitely if it's not a conflict of interest, if you're working for corporate and you're going to take that major step, take it. Still work for corporate,
correct,
but do the side. There are people that does photography on the side. There's people that does video on the side.
Barbers.
Barbers on the side. I know an electrician that he does it on the side, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday, he's a barber. But the other days, he's an electrician.
A lot of firefighters do the same thing too. They go ahead and work 3 days, 24-hour shift. 4
and 4s or something like that. So, you can do it, guys. You can definitely do it. You know what? It's the biggest word out there. It's called fear. If you're fearful, you'll never step out in faith to do what you know in your mind and your heart and your dreams to do. You need to take a leap of faith and do it. You know something? A good person to listen to is your wife. Your wife will encourage you. If she's not for it, she'll tell you, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
You're absolutely right.
She's kind of a gauge for a man. You know what I'm saying? But if you're like 18, 19 years old and you're not married yet, you gotta talk.
With it. Take that chance. Go. Do it.
You got your mom and your dad to help you out, right? Before.
We're done.
I gotta talk about it, right? And so Jay, not in, and to the contractors that are following me, you guys will understand where I'm coming from. Not every employee has the best and good feeling for you, or and some employees will come in here to kind of steal your job.
Correct.
They came here and they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna do a side hustle. I had Dave from Nicholson Roofing. Their employees did a little side hustle on the side on the weekend and burned down a $2 million mansion, right? Ooh. And you guys can go back, hit this link up here. Crazy clients. Me and Dave Nicholson talked about it. But, you know, the reality is that I trust people. I trust everybody on my team. I trust. I had one situation where I did not trust this person, and we found out why, right? And they went behind my back and stole one of my jobs. So we confronted the situation, had to let them go and stuff like that. And, you know, we're done with them, right? I say to you, have you had that situation happen? Because I know that if you're an experienced, you know, contractor out there, I don't know what trade it is, but you know that it's happened, that your competition has kind of come up against you and it was your own employee, you know?
Correct. I mean, it's funny you said that because we had that incident a few weeks ago where we were in the middle of a job. It was a stone job. Right. And we got there and we hired a new guy and we made him a team lead because of his experience. You know, right. The guy said, you know, this is what I do. I'm good at this. And his portfolio kind of spoke for himself. Mm-hmm. So we gave him the position and we brought him on board and he was doing it right. Everything was great. I get a call from the client. Listen, your guys are phenomenal. The crew is doing his delivery. They're doing great. And the very end of the project, the completion of the project, I get there and we talk and whatnot. And the client goes, hey, come on in, Jay. Let's have a cup of coffee, you know. And I don't tend to step into the houses. I'm not outdoor. I'm not indoor. I'm more outdoor. So I don't. But I went in and we had a cup of coffee. And the gentleman said, listen, I want to do the defense and bring in your team lead. So we brought in the guy. We started talking. And one thing led to another. And I guess the cop in me was kind of picking up certain things. And I noticed that one conversation went to another, and then all of a sudden I hear the guy say such and such name on the phone, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's my guy's name. But I let it be. I kept it professional. I finished my cup of coffee. Right. I shook his hand. We took the other deposit. We are going to address another project and a property, and I left. I called my guy. I didn't want to jump the gun. I said, let me call him up. I said, listen, what happened? He goes, listen, I'm busy right now. I'll call you back. A day went by, so now I'm over here overthinking it. This guy's really trying to, you know. Make a long story short, the team lead, I felt as though he was kind of taking my client, right? You know, I did all the legwork, I did all the marketing, I sold the job, I landed the job, and what I mean obviously me doing all the effort. And here you are, we put you in the front of the project because of your portfolio and because we trusted you. And he ended up, sure enough, giving the client his cell phone number, and they communicated back and forth.
So he was doing a backdoor job.
Correct. It did happen. I did not confront my client because at the end of the day, it's only one client. I can't control everything. Right. It's going to happen. Unfortunately,
your employees.
Right. But my staff, this is the first time that it happens. You know, my other team leads will know when they come in. Listen, how much is for this? You got to talk to Jay. You got to give him a call. He has his phone number. Reach out to him. He's the boss.
Unless you have a project manager,
correct,
and your project manager is kind of doing that job, and you have to everything kind of goes through the project manager. Call my project manager, and you know if they have to call Junior, they'll call me. Mostly all my clients will have my cell phone number, and they'll call me directly as well. But we have someone in between that they'll be able to call.
Like a liaison. You need a liaison. Right. You need someone
I always say, you feel, you know, like they deceived you, you know, if there's feelings involved, guys. We're humans. We're not robots, right? And then if you're a business owner and what happens is that your employee goes behind your back and says, oh, we didn't land a job, and then 2 weeks down the road, you know something, I need like 3 days off. All right, take 3 days off. And you pass by the job and your employee is doing that job.
Correct.
There is a big problem. A big problem. So, you know, we, you know, in our business and most business out there, right, Pete? They sign non-competes,
right.
And they signed, you know, different types of contracts where you can't go ahead and do that. You know, the person can be liable. The person can get sued. But, you know, you're a good, friendly person, and so you try not to go that. So, you know, today was a good day talking about, you know, how to come out of corporate, taking those little baby steps and taking a leap of faith and going, if you decide to be, whether it's contracting, whether you want to open a baking business, or let's say you want to open up a cupcake shop, or maybe a nail salon or something like that. You know, there are baby steps to get there, but you need to move and take those baby steps. Thanks for Jay coming out. He did come late. But
thank you for having me. Thank you for your patience.
You made up for it.
So guys, don't forget to like, to subscribe, to leave a comment below, and then you can follow Jay at A Cut From Above. There you go. And you can follow him on Instagram.
And the slogan here.
Oh, we don't beat around the bush. There you have it, guys. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome to another remodel. We are in another remodel